Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and... How? Seriously, how? I don't understand. Admittedly, I'm better at technical stuff than most, so I can at least grasp an understanding of how things were done. Like, the port of Grand Theft Auto 3, for example. That was based off an open source recreation of the engine, which is entirely reasonable in my point of view, because you've got all the data you need about the engine, the source code is widely available, you can just go for it. But this is ridiculous. How the hell did they port an Android binary to the goddamn Vita? That doesn't make any sense to me, even if you just managed to shell it up, make it so that it translates the calls correctly. It's just, I don't even understand how that manages to work. But it's here, and it works. But before we go hop into it, we should probably go check out this configuration tab, because it is entirely unique in these ports, at least to my personal knowledge. So there's a decent amount of options here, but a lot of them are just like stuff that you shouldn't touch. I do appreciate being able to change the dead zone of the rear touch panel. That's kind of a nice touch. Being able to change a couple of things to the PlayStation 2 equivalents, because the PlayStation 2 version was how I played San Andreas the most back in the day. Whoops. Lost a little bit of a connection there, but it's alright. We can go through the rest and then reset the connection. So, anti-aliasing, it's actually kind of neat because you can swap it between nothing, MSA 2 and MSA 4. I've kept it on 4 because you can turn down the internal resolution and get some slightly better frame rates that way, which is a nice touch. And all the other stuff here is just stuff that really you don't need to worry too much about. Just leave it all as it is. It all looks fine. I will, however, point out that you really should not use the save and launch the game option down here, because for some reason it uses a completely different set of save files. So when I was fiddling around with this and then went to save and launch the game again, for whatever bloody reason, I thought that I had lost my save data. It was very embarrassing. Let's just go and fix this up. I have reconnected the cable. It should just work immediately. Although I'm probably going to want to get out of the screen before I let it fail again. So we'll just discard and exit. Fix that up. And we'll just launch right into it. Really have to thank the people at a certain Vita subreddit for making this a lot easier for me than it is, despite the fact I already own 2 copies of this game. Yeah, alright, before we get into it again, I apologize for the amount of things that we have to do here. We have to have a look at some options, but not the options that are on this screen, but this. Because you need to overclock the Vita a lot to make this work. I am running this on the holy shit preset on the, let's just say, that's the name of it. Because, good God, that is a terrible goddamn name. But you absolutely do need to overclock your Vita to run this, and even then, it doesn't run particularly great. There are some frame rate drops here and there, and that's what the 2 numbers up in the top left are about. The one up the top there is the frame rate. It'll never go above 30, but you'll see it drop from time to time to, like, in the 20s. I've even seen it go down to the mid-10s when there's a lot of destructible objects on screen. Like, say, you run into a few poles and a car explodes. Things like that, right? And you've also got the battery meter, because when you've got the Vita running at 500 megahertz, it drains the battery hard. Like, I'm running this on the Slim Vita, which has a better battery life by default, but man, it really does approach like fat Vita levels of battery when you're playing this on the holy shit overclock. So, that's a thing. Another thing, do not try to redefine the controls, because this game does not support the touchscreen controls whatsoever, and you'll have to restart the game completely. It's a bit annoying like that. There are a few options here which are nice to have, including being able to turn off the frame limiter, but that doesn't actually do anything. But you can also change how much traffic there is, which might actually help with your frame rate. Targeting mode doesn't seem to do anything. It always seems to just lock on no matter what firing mode that you use. The display setup is nice because you can turn down the internal resolution of the game, make it look that little bit worse, which might help with the graphical frame rate, but it also helps if you have the MSAA turned up, because the lower this is, the easier it is to do the MSAA, and so the game still looks fine. You can also turn down the draw distance, but having that down really low is kind of unpleasant. The classic shadows are more than enough for me personally. And the car reflections. If you turn that any higher than low, the frame rate will tank, so don't even try that. Audio setup is nice because you can fiddle around with the individual sound effects on the radio, which is a nice thing, but it's also worth noting that some of the radio stations in this, because this is based off the Android port, are actually missing some of their songs, but thankfully someone, again, on the same subreddit that I got the data files from this game from, someone on that subreddit was like, hey, I can just port over the fixed radio stations from the PC version, and they did, so I used them. They also did a PS2 Enhancements patch, which was supposed to make the map look a bit better by reintroducing some of the objects that were already there, but it made Angel Pine and everywhere after that kind of unplayable, so I would absolutely not recommend using that particular mod. With that said, let's hop into the actual game. Now, Resume doesn't actually resume you back at your latest save, it resumes you back at your latest autosave, which is good because I've had a couple of crashes while I was playing around with this. Where you want to go to actually load your game is to go into Start Game and then Load Game as the second option over, which is a little bit weird. You do also have the option to reload the autosave from here as well. But we're just going to go down to the second Jizzy slot. The game's loading times are actually great. Like, seriously, after this, 30-second initial load, it's not even that, really. The game has barely any load times. Going indoors takes like a second or two, saving is immediate, and of course you can fly across the entire country without having to worry about any sort of load times between areas or anything like that, because this is a relatively decent port. The only downside is that if you're going fast enough, the frame rate will actually tank a bit, because the main thing that I've figured out in terms of what the performance drops are in this version of the game is mainly loading in new resources. When you're going so fast it has to load in new cars, or when you're going at a decent speed and then you change the radio station, that can cause a bit of a strain on a SD2 Vita, and that means that the frame rate will tend to drop a bit. It's unfortunate. Also, sometimes there are weird bugs. Like, for example, there's an invisible NPC there. You can see the shadow. See what I mean? Some money just dropped because I just ran over an invisible NPC. That's certainly something. There's more invisible NPCs than I'm used to right now. The one that kind of screwed me over was back trying to do some Ballas Gang Wars. Because when you were doing them, the Ballas Gang Wars would have an invisible dude every now and again and you'd have to shoot them. Thankfully, the target lock helped in making sure that I was able to actively attack them, but man, it was a bit rough. But on top of all that, it's something that I find very hard to care about because it's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the goddamn Vita. How is this even possible? And it looks so nice! Like, the MSAA is really helping out because those cables there used to look really, digital and stair-steppy and just blocky, but with the MSAA up to 4, you can barely tell. And it looks right. That's the main thing I've got to say about it. It looks correct. As I said, I played this a lot on the original PlayStation, and it definitely had a few things going on about it. Those fuzzy textures, I don't remember them, but the draw distance, the way characters walk around, the weird little filtering on their textures there, it's weird that it looks so accurate. And I know I can turn some of this off, but again, nostalgia for the PlayStation 2.
Easy, man. I'm here to see Woozy.
Oh, upstairs.
Stupid ass motherfucker.
Come on, Ps2. Come on, go. Come on, you can do it.
I'm Johnson. I'm here to see Woozy. I work with him.
Yes, right this way. You know of the boss's curse?
Curse? Nah.
He's blind.
Blind? But we was just racing cars last week.
Yes, I know. He's blessed with unbelievable good fortune. And the triad that would do anything for him We call him our lucky mole.
Alright. I'll keep that in mind.
I miss
Good.
the comedy of the original trilogy. I really do. Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 are funny, but not in the way that these games are.
Hello, Carl.
Just the way that they're written, and they just manage to seamlessly slip in stupid shit, and it's great.
What I do. Let me reintroduce myself. Mountain Plowboys.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Why don't you sit down?
Although I do kind of miss how they're not presented in like the cinematic aspect ratio. Like they'd have bars at the bottom and top to make it look just that little bit more filmic.
Damaging important business.
But I guess that's a factor of the port. There's a lot of stuff in this game, like needing to load the game from the start game menu and some of the weird controls and what have you, that I can blame on the port. But man, it's certainly something else. Just to see it like this on the Vita. How? I really need to stop asking that question. I know, but it's just so nice. Alright, come on, out you get. So let's talk about the controls. Most of them are pretty reasonable. Like, it plays like it does back on a PlayStation 2. But there are some things you need to worry about. For example, L3 and R3 are mapped to the touchscreen. So honking your horn, starting missions and what have you, they're all there. L1 and R1 are left and right, although there are a couple of extra things you can do, like holding the L button brings up your stats this time around. Select just changes this, the camera and all that. The main thing you want to be worrying about is the D-pad changes your radio. I know I'm probably going to get I'm going to lose all sorts of monetization by putting up my favorite radio station, but yeah. I was never that big of a fan of the radio stations in San Andreas. I mean, Vice City admittedly has the best radio stations of the lot, but K-Dust has Freebird, so I'm fine with it. Back to the controls though. L2 and R2, which are used to look left and right and do things like drive-bys, are on the rear touchpad, and that's what the touchpad sensitivity thing you saw earlier was related to. And making them smaller means that you're less likely to accidentally slip on them. But man, I was a little bit confused when I first started the game, and I found myself like looking right all the time as soon as I hopped into a car. They can be a bit oversensitive, but again, I'm happy that the option is there. Let's get the mini Uzi out.
Now, where's that loose cop? Hey, what the hell are you doing? Just checking the, shut up, Carl. This way.
God, it's storming. Woozy Moo probably has to be my favorite character of this game. He's just ridiculous, and I love him for that. But, of course... yeah.
What's wrong? You lost? You need a hand?
No.
My favorite voice performance of them all, though, definitely has to be Samuel L. Jackson. Admittedly, the audio quality of this port is great, although it's kind of hard to appreciate it when you're playing on the PlayStation Vita, because the speakers aren't particularly great on this thing, and everything sounds that little bit too compressed. But I put in my headphones, which are a good pair of headphones, ATH M50s, and the game worked fine. I was able to hear all of it. Oh, dear.
Oh, sorry. Didn't see you lying down there.
He's dead. They all are.
The blood feathers wiped out?
Die low.
But yeah, if you've got a good pair of headphones, the sound quality is fine. The overall install size of this on a Vita is 3 gig, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that install size. Oh, here we go. Do I still have that spare rocket launcher around?
The Triads must have vengeance.
Yep. Cool. So you aim with by holding R and using the right stick. But the game does tend to lock onto characters that you can see pretty much immediately. So it does make the shootouts a bit easier than I remember.
You want to get blasted for?
But at the same time, considering how wonked they could be on the PlayStation 2 to begin with, I'm not massively insulted by that. L3 to crouch, which works fine, really. Don't even know why I use the shotgun. The mini Uzi is just walking in the background. God damn it, Woozy.
That was a sniper bullet. CJ, take out that sniper.
I love you, man, but you're being an idiot.
This hot laden shit.
I have played through this mission like 3 times in the past, but I mean, it's been a while.
Such a buster now. In the car, quick.
Come on, man. Let me go grab some of that ammo.
We got more company.
There are some things this port has changed, though. I know they're overall minor things,
You drive. I'll send them back.
but... Oh my god, Woozy. Are you seriously going to shoot blind? What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, I know. It's been a while, but there are a couple of things that this port has changed over the original PlayStation 2 version. The main one that I'm disappointed by is they actually took out the reference to Driver 3 in Mad Dog's Rhymes, where you sneak by him and he goes, "Man, this game is a piece of shit, Tanner, you suck ass." I am immensely disappointed at this, because that was one of my favourite parts of seeing Andreas, even though I never played Driver 3, so it's not like I could fairly complain about it. You just sneak on right past him, and that is just an immense disappointment to me.
I'll take care of these murderous scum.
There's also a couple of other minor things about the gameplay. Mainly, you keep your weapons when you're wasted or busted. You might lose them when you're busted, because I haven't actually been busted. Because remember, being busted in this game is surprisingly hard. At least if you're trying to avoid being busted.
That looked like
Oh,
the last
no, we're alright.
Thank you, Carl. You saved me from having to kill them all myself. Okay, let's get back to my place.
I wasn't fucking kidding. This guy has the best luck. But as I was saying, yeah, you don't lose all your weapons when you're wasted, which is great.
Here, a token of the time.
There are
appreciation.
icons on the map for things that there normally wouldn't be icons for, if I remember correctly. I don't remember there being an icon for the, whatchamacallit. I don't remember there being an icon for... Hey, work with me here. The Destruction Derby races in Los Santos. But there's one there now. And there's also one there for the driving school. Again, I don't remember if that was there before. It probably was. But there's also ones for, like, properties you can't buy yet. Mod shops.
What's your poison? Green or gin?
I know there's more than I remember. As to the exact amount, honestly, it's been a long-ass time. But, yeah. Gotta do Zero's missions, man. I have to do Zero's missions, at least while I'm here, because I fucking love Zero. He's probably my second favorite character in the game. You might have realized that I waited until seeing Fierro, which is like 6 or 7 hours into the game easy. In fact, I can tell you that specifically if I hit the start button. So we've seen all the options already. You can redefine most of them in-game, but you've also got all your stats, including the fact that the cheats still work. Yes, we will be doing some cheats. I do believe there's more stats here than there used to be. But yeah, miscellaneous. 7 hours, 20 minutes. This is legitimately a really good port outside of all the stuff I've already mentioned, so I have been playing it for a significant length of time. I guess I have to be outside and wait for his cell phone call, or I might also have to wait until a bit later on in the game. I could have sworn... Yep, there it is.
Hello?
Carl, it's Zero.
Oh, hi, Z. You wasn't around when I signed the deeds.
Yes, I know. I was on a dangerous reconnaissance mission, deep into enemy territory.
Yeah, right, sure, whatever you say. I should come through and have a look at the business, you know?
Oh, of course, of course. I'll have to tidy up a bit. This place is such a mess.
Don't worry about it. I'll drop in soon.
Thank you very much. Let's go do his missions. Because I fucking love Zero. The thing I love about San Andreas over Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City is not only how much they managed to cream in here, but how much different stuff they managed to cream in here. Like, Zero's missions are all completely different from the norm, and they're all great. All of the, like, bank heist missions are great. The stealth mechanics are actually really well done for a game of this time period. All the different kinds of side missions, the pimping, load hauling in the countryside, including like all the usual stuff like the vigilante, the taxi, the fire missions, and what have you. All of those weird things that you can go and do is just great. And Zero is just probably my favorite example because there's this one mission at the end of his storyline which is just entirely about like this tabletop warfare where you have to control multiple vehicles and just go for it that you never see again. And it's great. They put in so much effort to make this tiny out of the way thing work, and even in Grand Theft Auto 5, you don't see anything like that anymore. The fucking gang wars too. The amount of time I spent on the goddamn gang wars. But anyway, back to the things that this port adds. It actually adds checkpoints to the missions, which I cannot help but appreciate. Because, man, some of these missions can be long, and it's really nice. Even being able to just, like, restart the mission after you fail it is a nice touch. Especially when you, have a really long mission and you fail it, and it's just like, oh, Christ, I have to do all the stuff at the beginning, I have to do this track back. Nope, you can just go and redo the entire mission again.
No problem, man, but they
Just straight away. Or at the very least, skip to like halfway through it. Really nice touch. Makes San Andreas just that little bit more tolerable. One thing I don't really like the port for is the fact that you can't change the analog stick sensitivity. Little bit, it's a little bit high for my personal enjoyment. It's tolerable, but it's just a little bit too much for me personally. It isn't that big of a deal when you're driving around in the car or what have you. But when you're dealing with a section like this, or when you're trying to aim a rifle or what have you, it's really easy to overcompensate. Again, not a big deal. I'm doing alright here.
Kamikazes at 6 o'clock!
Yeah, it's just a little bit too much for me personally. Where the hell is that one going? Would have been nice to add it as like a, as just an option, like in the same way as that configuration menu, just how sensitive it was going to be. Thankfully though, all the controls seem ported over really well, probably because the Android port supported, whatchamacallit. The Android port supported controllers. So I assume there was just some, PlayStation code in there that they were like, hey, let's just adapt that and all the symbols. They didn't manage to change out all of the symbols though, because again, L2 and R2 are mapped to the back to the rear touchpad. But they do warn you about this when you're downloading the port in the first place, so it's like there's only like so much you can reasonably expect from a fucking shell for the Android port. It's not even like a native port. It's just an Android port. It just makes you think, what the bloody hell? With that said, though, there are some bugs. I have noticed a fair few bugs when it comes to, well, it's not exactly this port. Well, I guess it is exactly this port, but, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3 wasn't exactly the best about this, but there is some weird stuff going on in San Andreas, too. There were a couple of missions that were really easy because some AI just didn't kick in. The first race in the countryside was super easy because it just kind of broke. All the cars decided not to move. I've had a few cars just disappear out of nowhere and appear out of nowhere when I looked away. What was the other one? I said that I have had a couple of crashes. The main one that I had to worry about was one where I walked into the burger shop No, it is Burger Shot, isn't it?
Carl.
Where you meet OG Loke.
I must prepare.
Although you have to technically meet him out the back. I was going to get some health. I walked into that and the game crashed, but thankfully, as I said, there is an autosave system now, so crashes usually don't lose you too much progress, but if you do anything after you finish a mission and you want it saved, go save manually. It'll be worth the effort, trust me. I have to do his second one, because a lot of people complain about this mission, but I was fine on this one. I don't know what everyone was so upset about. Just attack the attack the ones that are further away first, and then come back and take care of the other ones.
Come on, homie, where are you?
I said go away, Carl. I don't need any friends today. Thank you.
Then them some pretty strong draws.
Yes, my hero. Carl.
It always just amuses me, the middle of this multi-city cop corruption gang war story. You have this optional storyline about a nerd getting hung up in a closet by his underwear.
Whose landlord just helped him down from a hook from which I had been hanging from my underwear.
Bloody
Contemplating
great.
my inadequacy for nearly 2 hours. Ow.
Yeah, there was another crash, but honestly I can't remember what it was. As I said, it's been like 7 hours and 3 days at this port, so...
Prototype of a miniature plane.
Yeah, it does crash sometimes. It's also worth noting that the game crashes if you hit start and go to quit game, but frankly that's...
That went right up my
It's about the same result. Just because the game automatically exits.
Berkeley has his six
That's
fans
fine, I
back
suppose.
with all his deliveries. Well, we shall hit him where it hurts the most.
And I already talked about the disappearing NPCs. Showed it off too. I have also noticed that, there are some cheats you can do, but my favorite one doesn't work. You access the cheats by holding L and pressing select, and you type them in the same way that you would on the PC. However, my favorite one, which is the one that spawns the Hydra jump jet, just doesn't work. Very unfortunate.
Fight or die, Carl. It's the only choice we have.
Yeah, the controls on this one are just a little bit too sensitive. Alright, that ought to do the trick. Let's just get out of here.
1 down, 4 to go.
Yeah, the one that spawns the Hydra jump jet doesn't work. So I ended up having to use the Hunter, which is like the easiest to remember cheat code in the bloody game, but alright. We're good, we're good. But everything I've mentioned, thanks to the fact that there's things like autosaves and mission checkpoints and basically being able to restart the game really quickly if something gets really bad, like the missing NPCs or what have you, they aren't massive problems. I'd like to see them fixed, don't get me wrong. But considering what they managed to bloody accomplish, I'm forever impressed. Because it's seeing Andreas on the PlayStation Vita. It does everything. All the missions are there. I've been playing a bit of everything. I played a bit of robbery. I played a bit of vigilante. I played a bit of the gang wars. As far as I can tell, it's all here, and it all works more than well enough. Which is bloody insane to me personally. Because again, just gonna point out, this isn't like an engine port. This isn't like they've already had the open source engine for a while. We'll just port that over to Vita and see what we can do with it. It isn't that. They've taken the binary for the Android version, wrapped it up in a way that the Vita can understand, and put that on the Vita, and somehow it works. And not only that, they can use that to bring over other Android games. As to how far this is going to be able to go is completely unknown, because this is a bloody Vita. It's running a mobile processor from something like 2012. The fact that that was even possible is unbelievable. We don't know how far it can go. Although I have heard someone is working on a port of the Android version of Bully. Considering that I've never managed to play that game, I might have to give that one a go. I also tried out the Android port of Max Payne, but the controls on that are just unbelievably difficult to get used to, so I'm not going to be working on that one for the Vita at the very least.
Don't let him get away. Punish him for his war
Punish him for his war crimes, he says, as we're flying around in a fucking
Only two left, Carl. Hunt them down.
plane equipped with miniguns, shooting everyone down. Something else entirely. You can see the problems with the NPCs appearing out of nowhere. It's also possible to pull this off if you're in a car. If you're driving really quickly and just quickly swap backwards and forwards between the, if you quickly swap backwards and forwards between camera angles, sometimes cars will just appear right in front of you.
Mail order department is finished.
It's something else. It also makes some missions really hard, especially the mission for Jizzy where you're chasing down the preacher in the limo. Because every time I managed to get alongside him and look to the side of him, and then get a few shots off, I'd immediately look back and there'd be a car right in front of me. Again, thank God for mission checkpoints. They really do just improve the game in general. Although notably, if you're in a mission where you're still able to keep driving along, you might accidentally hit the X button to accidentally select no for the mission checkpoint, which can be a real dick. Because I did that like 3 times on one mission, just because of the way the mission was set up.
Now get her back home in one piece before.
See, look at that. I haven't even lost a third of my fuel yet. They made this mission easier, and I'm not really sure why. I will also point out that all the controls work fine for all the weird vehicles and what have you. But again, it's ported from what feels like the control scheme from the original PlayStation 2 version, so it does make sense. Even using L2 and R2 isn't really that bad, because, I mean, it'd be better than using the right analog stick, I'll tell you that much. For doing things like drive bikes, you'd have to do this weird claw grip and it would not work.
This music. My father's rich, but that hasn't affected my lazy outlook on life.
Yeah, I went flying around in the Hunter. It was fun.
Sage on Radio X.
I blew the crap out of people from bloody 2 feet in the air. It's 200 feet in the air, I should say. It's fun.
Smells like victory.
Hell yeah, it does, Zero. Hell yeah, it does. Alright, we have to do the tabletop mission while we're here. New model army.
I'm off to engage with Destiny.
Gotta love all the Grand Theft Auto
What the
references.
hell are you talking about?
Just
now?
on the
hour of
on the
judgment
covers
is
there,
upon me,
and
I
the
must
Rockstar
ask myself
kite.
if I am a sheep or a goat. Carl, will you be my second? Here are some
I
letters.
didn't even know
I
that
left everything to you
he
in
had a
writing.
first, but okay.
Please.
Already
I don't know, maybe I don't like Zero so much because he's basically
We are
me.
crossing the Rubicon. I am
Except I don't own an
committed to
RC
battle
shop.
for At stake, honor, and our very lives. It's funny. I've never noticed before how beautiful this time of year can be. I may never again see Rome in the springtime.
Yeah, let's just, this video is going to be massively long already. We just need to,
No man's land.
we need to move
Man,
on.
I'll take
Oh,
this.
they've changed this.
Berkeley's headquarters is across no man's land.
Have they changed
I'll
this?
drive the bandit, you fly the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, no, there it is in the background. I remember there being all that crap in the background.
We must leave San Fierro for good. Let battle commence.
Let battle commence. Alright, there. Circle, got it. You use L2 and R2 to change the way that helicopters are facing. But, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Actually, I remember. You need to go take out all of these first just to make things easier. Damn, I missed. Oh, no, I actually got him. Alright. Go me. This is such a cool idea. Like, they could have made, like, this entire tabletop war concept a budget game. on the PlayStation 2, and people would have loved it. Like, imagine if they came out with an experiment like this in the same way that they did that Rockstar table tennis game. That would have been fucking great.
Carl, don't
I
be an
also
idiot.
appreciate
Use
how
the
we never
goblin
see
to move that
Berkeley.
barrel.
Yes, Zero, I know. Die.
Get a plank from our base and make a bridge across that gap.
I'll go finish off the last tank before I do that. Make things easier on me. Honestly, I'm surprised that this never got turned into a concept for, like, a game, just in general, right? Just all these controllable vehicles, the table, the wargaming table as an environment. A bunch of different missions you could do. Maybe being able to, like, swap between all the different vehicles to make your life easier. Seriously, why was this never a thing? Die. I think the timer in this mission is the same as it was on the PlayStation 2. Even the storyline, just two nerds battling it out. Even though it could be for something that doesn't really matter. Then again, I guess it wouldn't have been Rockstar that did that.
There's no bridge. There's no
Yes,
bridge.
I know there's no bridge. I'm just trying to make sure. Yeah, okay, it just snaps on. That's fine. And I appreciate the frame rate. You know what? Fair example. This is what it looks like at 30 frames a second. Let's change that. Drop it back down to default? Huh. I guess it's fine here. Alright, whatever. But no, back out in the overworld. We'll give that another shot. There we go, got the plank. Even the physics are relatively similar. I think they've been given a little bit of a touch-up. Yep, I'm aware. We've got a lot of obstructions to remove. Back it up.
Carl, I'm blocked.
Yes, I know. You're going to be blocked by this too. Come on. Why you can't take the bandit off the road, I will never know.
There's another cursed barrel in the way.
You know what it's like with nerds, though. They love their rules. There you go. Didn't even have to pick that one up. Just needed to nudge it.
Move it! Carl, Berkeley's blocked me again.
Still not the most precise set of controls.
Curse you, Berkeley! Carl, move that barrel!
Go on, is that? Yep, that was enough.
Carl, move that
Oh, he's
obstruction.
put down 2 barrels now. Oh dear, whatever will I do? Move 1. That's all I needed to move.
Carl, I'm blocked.
Yeah, I'll just bring this one over here. Drop it off the road.
There's another cursed barrel in the way. Move it! Carl, Berkeley's blocked me again.
I think I remember trying to bomb his helicopter, but never actually managing to make it work. Go on, Zero, your path is clear. Let's watch him drive in.
sir, are a loser. Leave the field of battle in shame, pack up your crummy mail-order business, and get out of my town! Carl, you are all a duelist like me could want in a second. Sir, I salute you.
Yay, money! Loads of money. Still not the amount of money I paid for the place, but it will make up for it eventually.
You need this.
Let's go see Woozy some more. One of the things I really appreciate about this series is the sort of stupid puns that you would never get until you play them again years later. Like, my favourite one that I found this time around is the car showroom that's right next to your San Fierro garage. It's Wang Cars. Now, there's the obvious one there, but if you say it fast enough, it sounds like something completely different. Wang Cars, wankers, wankers, wankers. It sounds like wankers.
Hey, Woozy, my man, what's going down?
Hey, CJ. Let me introduce you to Shuk Fu, Ramfa Li. He heads the Red Gecko Tong on the West Coast.
How you doing?
Ah Kung has sent word from Kowloon. A Vietnamese crime family, the Da Nang boys, are preparing to move to the United States. This may explain the cowardly attack on the Blood-Feather Triad. There may be some trouble ahead.
The Shifu would like a package retrieved. A courier has left it in a drop at the airport. It is most important to the matter at hand.
Oh, I can do that.
He is Triad? A mountain boy?
No, a personal friend of mine. And less likely to draw the attention of the Da Nang boys.
Okay.
Grunt?
Thanks for your support.
Gotta love it. One guy who can't see, one guy who can't speak, and the same man in the middle. Let's go. Back to my favorite radio station, please. I don't actually have my sound on right now, so I don't know what's playing. Although I admit I do appreciate K-Rose a bit. Feels very appropriate to be driving along in the Las Venturas outskirts listening to A Horse with No Name. There's a chainsaw on top of that building. Never noticed it before. I know I'm only doing story missions, but there is so much I could be doing. I could be looking for oysters. I could be working out at the gym. Although, yeah, that's another thing I should bring up. What was it in the gym that didn't work? It was the treadmill. The treadmill in the gym doesn't work. Doesn't matter, like, how much you press any of the buttons, it just never recognizes that you, it just never recognizes that you're trying to use it for some reason. Thankfully, all the other machines work, so it doesn't affect any of the things that you need to do in order to like, lose fat, gain muscle, and stamina. Yeah, I could be going to the gym, I could be flying around in the helicopter, shooting people, I could be doing all sorts of other things, and that's one of the best parts about San Andreas.
You must be on the dust.
Ah, man, thanks for that.
Not to mention bloody Samuel L. Jackson in his best performance. Find me on that, bros.
Keep it on the dust.
I should be around here somewhere. Yep, there we go. Should be off to our left. Look at this piece of shit. and just the overall, like, bangingness of the missions. I guess that's the best word I'm going to be able to come up with for this one. Bangingness of the missions. The bloody chase with all of the Grove Street boys when the cops are chasing you down. The bloody shootout in the car park. All of Catalina's missions are fucking ridiculous. There are just so many good missions. So many of them. And considering that this happens to be like one of the longest games of this entire series by a significant margin, it means that there's just more and more and more stuff to do. And it's all great. I love doing the Destruction Derby missions, because the destruction in these games are usually... I mean, in San Andreas in particular, it's great. The bloody random bike challenges that they hit in bloody San Fierro and Los Santos for no discernible reason. I mean, they exist in Vice City too, but it's even more fun here. Die. Admittedly, this isn't one of the better ones, but it's still kind of neat, trying to escape from the triads through this huge-ass city. Not to mention the city designs. I don't know why I've always liked San Fierro, because I'm not even that big of a fan of the real-life San Francisco, but just having 3 cities to explore in general is just... It's even better than bloody Vice City. Liberty City and Vice City are well-designed cities, but in this game there's 3 of them. And they all feel like they're on the same scale. They all feel like they have their own cultures. They all feel alive in their own unique ways. Really, it's just a testament to how good the boys at Rockstar can design cities.
From the fires in Los Santos.
Although, admittedly, it does make me a little bit worried for the existence of Grand Theft Auto 6, because everybody who was responsible for how good Grand Theft Autos 1 through 5 are all gone at this point. There's a lockup. Screw it, we're reversing in. You made it easy for me, fellas. Thanks. That works. Alright. Should probably go get my health up before something bad happens to me. And we've got the money to do the thing. We all know the thing.
Sweaty crust, your choice, sir.
Although it's a bit weird that he doesn't immediately come back up with the right food. I noticed that.
Enjoy your meal.
Just give me the full racks. All the full racks. Every last full rack that you've got in the shop.
Nice and cheesy.
At least I'm pretty sure this is still in here.
Enjoy, sir.
There it is. Also, I'm visibly fatter now. Also, noticeably, I didn't even... Oh, man. Apparently, you lose health for doing that. Ain't that something? Although, that might just be a bug. Oh. Forgot to answer my phone. That's fun. Nope, you're not even gonna let me eat again. Great. So, I've got less health than I had before. Am I gonna be able to answer my phone this time? No. Guess I'll have to wait until I... Do I even have... Nah, I don't really have that much ammo. You know what? We'll go do one more woozy mission. Then we'll go get a police car and shoot some people. Probably have to stop by ammunition first. Kind of annoying that some of the touch controls are still there. That's fine. What the hell else can I praise San Andreas for? I've already talked about all the stuff, including some of the secret stuff. It took me years to learn that there were, like, hidden things in the city you could take pictures of at night in San Fierro. Just random buildings with camera icons above their heads. They're really hard to see unless you're looking through the camera viewfinder. And are even harder to take pictures from because they're up at a high angle. Talked about the performances, how they're all great. I'm still impressed to learn that CJ was just some random rapper they pulled off the street? Because he sounds like he's been doing voice acting for ages. As far as I know, he's never been in any other game. But I mean, if the one game you're in is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, who's gonna complain? Who is going to complain? But no, they got a bunch of other big guys in here as well. The one I remember is James Woods. Random assignment, but okay. But no, there are a bunch of other people as well.
Why don't you cruise on out of here, lead them to a place quiet, and cap they flat asses? No offense.
None taken.
We find you funny.
Look, long as they think Mr. Farley here is in the back, they'll follow me wherever. After a while, you can come out safely. Simple.
Amazing.
Your success will be rewarded, Mr.
Yeah, I talked about the great performances. I talked about the great amount of stuff you can do. The port itself, like, admittedly, it's been running really well. You just saw a big drop in the frame rate there. But it's been doing really well for itself so far. And if you've got the overclock going, it is entirely playable. I will happily call this playable. Not to mention it still manages to look great, even at 80% resolution because of the 4 times MSAA. And frankly, like, it'll look kind of pixelated and a bit iffy on the screen that you're watching this on. But on the Vita, it's incredibly hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I mean, like, that fuzzy grass there, yeah, that does stand out, but it is so hard to see anything even remotely approaching jaggies. It looks great. And maybe, hopefully, they'll be able to pull a few more optimizations out of their butt for this port and give us slightly better performance. Almost lost my shit there. But still, if this was all that we ever got from this port, it'd be enough for me to say it's worth trying if you've got a homebrew-enabled Vita. Installation can be a bit tricky. The main problem I had was getting, well, the data files. But, I mean, if you frequent these sorts of communities, you'll know where to hunt these files down with no problem whatsoever. The main one is the libscprx thing that you need to grab from the PlayStation Mobile install. But there's this one app that you can get called the PIB configuration tool, which makes it a one-button process. You don't even have to worry about installing the PlayStation Mobile stuff. Which is fine by me. Here we go into Mount Chiliad. The fucking triathlon, man. Who would have thought to put a triathlon into a game like this? And who would have thought that it would have turned out as fun as it was? Seriously, I enjoyed the shit out of running the triathlon. I don't remember winning, but it was still just weirdly enjoyable. I think the main thing I like about all the collectibles in this series, like, at least in this game, like the hidden packages in San Fierro, no, Las Venturas, sorry, the hidden photography places, the oysters, the game tags, is that they don't emphasize that you have to do them. Which is what I appreciate, right? Do not leave the decoy car? That's gonna be a little difficult. Good shit, fellas. If the doors get too damaged, the bikers will be able to see the car. That will be a problem. Come on, you piece of shit, you can do it. There we go. I don't think I've got the damage I need to be able to survive this, but we'll give it a try anyway, why not? Even going cross country in this is enjoyable, just because of how varied the terrain can be. Come on, push, push, push. They really want you to take this at high speed, man, goddamn.
wash my sports car. Only joking, it got repossessed, and I left seafood in the trunk.
Damn, I knew I was gonna hit that. Camera word with me here, thank you.
Any radio station can play songs about abusing drugs and women. But we've
Where are the
been doing it
bikers?
successfully.
Did I lose them?
22 years. You were
Nope, they're
listening
still
to
behind me.
The Dust.
Music may not be the food
At least I got a decent distance from them.
Anonymous sex in hotel swimming pools.
Off the accelerator, make the turn.
Welcome back. Let the Who liven up your day. Enjoy.
Maybe I did lose the bikers. No, I think that was them. Just saw a car appear in the background. Yep, see? See? It's filled with that enough and cars appear out of nowhere. It's something else. Man, I never really paid too much attention to the fuzzy ground textures until I was looking at it from this bloody point. On my big ass screen here.
Hey.
Mr. Johnson, it's Guppy. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's nothing. They took the bait like morons. Mr. Ramfire Lee get out alright?
Yes, Woozy has taken him to safety. Thank you.
Cool. I'll see you later, man. It's Decoy! Back to Chinatown!
Alright. What's this? I do not remember this.
Well, he say he's taking me to Ventura.
Oh yeah, the arcade games. I forgot about these. I wonder if they still work in this port.
Damn, y'all buses is slow.
Let's get my health back up.
One of these. Get a city boy and make him suffer.
They still work! I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, because everything else in this port works, but man... The fact that this works at all is just something else entirely. They really did put at least a decent amount of effort into getting this working. Yeah, I don't think we need to play too much of that. I think if your score gets high enough, you get something out of that.
Take my money.
Well, look
Give
at
me all
that
your money.
Gun.
I don't even remember if this
Hey,
works.
I'm sorry about this.
No, doesn't work. Let's just leave. Alright, I promised cheats and blowing shit up. Oh, cell phone first.
Catalina, is that you again?
Eek. Ah, yes. Alright, it's L plus select. I don't know why that's the cheat code for the helicopter. Must be a reference to something. Yeah, don't worry about the achievements thing there. There are no achievements in this version. As far as I know, anyway. Brown Thunder. That almost sounds like a particularly painful dump, but okay. I don't know where it is. I'm just going to start bombing people. Oh, no, there he is. Oh, I can't fly this thing. Shit. Can I get, like, in first person with this one? Yep, there we go. Just a bit ahead. Dead. So yeah, I still love San Andreas. It's still a ton of fun to this day. And this port, while I wouldn't call it perfect, I'll call it, considering the technical shit that they would have needed to do to make this shit work, I'll call it acceptable. And the fact that an acceptable port of the Android port of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas exists on the PlayStation Vita at all is something that is worth a lot. Bingo. Appreciate how rear view lets you look straight down. I'm assuming the one, yeah, it's got to be that red car. I don't know exactly what other cheats work from the PC version. Like, as I said, the Hydra cheat, it says that it is activated, but it doesn't actually spawn a Hydra, which is odd. Maybe I should go look up some more cheats. Fucking truck is destroying the... Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh well, we're done.
I'ma break your neck for that.
All right, let's just get out of this. All right, now how do I get myself killed? Oh hi, where'd you guys come from? I forgot these bastards were stupid. Hey Dolphin, ain't that nice? You know what? It's time to look up some cheats. The first one we're going to get is, of course, kill myself. Save myself some time. GTA SA PC cheats. Yeah, this'll do. Should probably mute the site just in case IGN decides to... PC cheats, please. Alright, let's have a look. Suicide, okay. L plus select. I can't spell cruel. Hey. It's just kind of neat that I give you the cheat for that. So let's turn on one of my favorite cheats from back in the day. Remember how at the end of San Andreas, everyone would just suddenly go insane?
Even San Fierro, right?
Right, but they're using bikes, CJ, and they go cross country.
Yeah, the bloody courier missions that I never
Not
did,
right
and
now.
I'll probably never do.
Check into some shit.
Alright, more cheats. Give me... What have we got? Alright, give me, UZU... MY... MW? Nah, wrong cheat. UZU... MYMW. There we go. Oh, hi! Shit, that's gonna explode and I'm gonna die. Let's go on a country rampage. Being punched in the face, not great. What other cheats do we have? Yeah, I'll just take that. Gets out of the car and immediately dies. Very good. I'm gonna die putting this code in or whatever. Ah. Didn't even spawn any ninjas. Right, what else we got? Let's see. Did I get that right? Let's try that again. Where is it? IWPRTON. Oh, I guess that one just doesn't work. The hell?
Yeah? You having fun yet? Ah, you so kind.
Head to a 1081 in North Angel Pines. Suspect last seen on foot.
Hey, that works. What's the cheat to bring our wanted level back up again? Turn up the heat. Oh shit. Go! We're gonna have ourselves a good old chase.
You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
In a car that's fucked. Ah, this is gonna be fun.
You fucking me up.
There we go. Give me a little bit of a fairer start. Although it is a little bit depressing that it despawns all the regular cars if my wanted level is this high. Why the hell did he get out of the car? Why is it on fire? Does anyone else remember those bloody planes that fly over from time to time? And sometimes I'll just do a dive straight down and end up in the middle of a bloody intersection, just destroying everything and causing chaos. I remember that. That's fun.
Get out the way.
Why is that on fire already?
Really annoying me now.
Ah, there's the moon.
I ain't got time.
You know what? One thing I haven't tried yet. I don't know if it's this rifle that it'll work with, but let's... Nah, never mind, I'm dead. Alright. I think we've caused enough major chaos, and we've gone from... Honestly, the barrier life probably isn't going to be that bad. Like, we've gone from, like, what, 80 to 65% barrier life in an hour, so it'll still probably last a fair bit. And really, that's all you can hope for.
You got a death wish?
Why are the ballers here? Man, I must have fucked up something with those cheats. But yeah. This is still... Considering the state of things. Considering the fact that this is a fucking Android a shell for the Android port of San Andreas that, with a decent overclock applied, works really damn well. All I can say is, this is amazing. And it still plays more than well enough to be reasonable. It's got everything from the original games, or the original game, I should say. Long as you have the mod to bring back the songs that are missing from the radio stations. And everything handles just well enough that this is an absolutely fine way to experience San Andreas. I guess the question is, why the hell didn't Rockstar release native ports of these games to the Vita? Hell, why haven't they done it for the Switch yet? The Switch was released how many freaking years ago? Has how many goddamn sales? Oh well. Still. Really damn good port. I've had fun with it. I'm probably going to keep having fun with it whenever I find the time. This has been Blue Maxima. Let's blow ourselves up. Just for the fun of it. I'll see you all next time.